Hey everyone, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and welcome to the rework of League Talks. This is episode 1, and of course with me, I said I was going to have Ranger join me, so Ranger's with me. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
No
and
problem.
with us today, we have the lovely Vickta. How are you?
I am good, good. How are you? Even though you just answered that.
I am better now, because you asked. Suck it, Ranger. Anyways, so what we're going to be doing with League Talks, I know I gave a few of you a rundown, but in case you're either new to the show or you just don't know what's going on at all and you're just really confused how you even got here, what League Talks is you are the users, you send us your questions, anything about League of Legends. Me and Ranger will answer them every once in a while whenever these videos come out, and then we're going to have a guest with us rotating in and out, and this week we got Vickta. So that's what we're going to do with this. Our questions that I have were sent to me, so they might be worded just directly to me, but this is because it's just a new show, so we're going to go with some of the older questions that I have that I haven't gotten to yet. So first thing we're going to do today is start off with some questions and answer those to our best knowledge. And yes, of course, everybody in here, in case you don't know who the other people are, if you only know me, yes, we all play League of Legends. That's kind of the main goal. We're not just getting random Let's Players. So, first off, the first question I have today comes in, and they're asking, I know in several of your other previous League Talks, you have covered recommended champions, but I'm curious, what are about the opposite? What are champions you would avoid recommending, or champions you just avoid overall? So, spitball this. Go ahead. I'm going to change it up just a tiny bit. I want you both to come up with 2 champions you would typically just not want to play or not recommend for certain reasons. Give me a few. Ranger, we'll start off with you. What are 2 champions you'd avoid?
The first one that comes to mind is Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia is a great champion, but she's a skill shot based champion where you have to hit people if they are facing you with their ultimate. So it's a hard ultimate. You're squishy. You have no escape. You're mana dependent. You have to keep your passive stacked, and you have to hit skill shots. Plus, you can't use your E more than once in a team fight if you don't hit it when they're poisoned. It's just too much to do for one like a beginner player to start. So I would stay away from Cassiopeia.
I like your ideas behind that ultimate. That's true.
It's true. Another one I would say is probably Garen. Even though he's like not terrible, it's kind of a random choice. I know, and
We're both in the same phase. We're like, I always recommend Garen, so that's
really
always.
Okay. Well, just like for me, I don't know, it's because of the way like I play. It's just there's other champions I could do like basically the same thing, but maybe even better and be tankier. Like I don't know, I'd prefer like Shyvana or Renekton over Garen, like usually, anyways. So it's not that he's like bad. It's just that there's some others that are better.
I know what she's saying. It's not a skill thing. It's more of there's only so much Garen can do.
Yeah.
And then you start losing games.
That does.
Like
that
unless
does
you
make sense.
steamroll with Garen, you lose the game for your team.
No,
Right.
Okay, I can agree with that. I
got
agree with that. Makes sense now more so. I still recommend him if anybody should want to start off. Garen.
Yes.
Give Garen a shot. It's good.
Maybe
good
just
champion.
bad with him.
The first one I'm gonna actually pick up, and I don't actually hate this champion anyway, but I'm gonna go with Poppy. And as much as Poppy has what I would feel is one of the actually better passives in the game, it's just great for neglecting or just not getting hit with damage. She's got that great passive, but besides that, she can't really do anything in the first few levels. There's not a lot to her kit, so she can't really do anything on the offensive unless somebody is really overextending or just committing to a bad fight. So there's not a lot you can do with her early. You really need to know how to play her passively and then how to combo it all together perfectly. So she's like, I think she's got a lot of skill behind it, even though there's really not that much to do with skill. It's just kind of a timing thing. So I would just kind of avoid Poppy. That's just kind of how I feel about her. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way or not. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't play her.
If your team loses in the first 30 minutes and you picked Poppy, you can't help.
Yeah, you're going extreme late game, and I mean, Poppy's she's cool, but it's just not helpful. You got another one, Ranger?
Yeah, Warwick. Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of crap for
no!
this. But Warwick, people pick him and they play jungle, and then they try to gank at level 3. With no results.
This is the player, though, and not the champion, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
No
people don't understand how to play him. Like, you have to tell your team has to understand, you have to be like, hey guys, you're not getting a gank to level 6, then one of you is getting a gank. Like, that's how it has to work, and then everyone's like, oh, you didn't gank, so they're demoralized because they didn't get the 4-minute gank, and then you're frustrated, and so you try to gank at level 5, and that accomplishes jack. So, it's just, I don't know, I just avoid Warwick until your teams understand what champions do and don't do.
No, that is a good point. I do feel the same way. You kind of have to power jungle with him. You can't. There's no such thing as a good level 2 Warwick gank. It's not really a thing.
Oh, that level 2 warg just messed us up. What do you do? Auto attack, dude. Auto attack.
Got me good. Oh, that's true. You got another one for us?
I was gonna say Warwick, but I do have another one.
Ooh.
I feel like Andrew was gonna say Warwick too, but
No way.
really,
No, I'll defend him. I recommend him for anybody starting in the jungle because you can't die with him in the jungle. It's impossible.
You also can't kill anyone.
Well, wait till 6 is what I say though. Watch the build. Wait till 6.
Okay.
Wait till 6.
But I guess like another one would be Zed, because I know it's when he first, for a while he was really popular and like was kind of considered like easy wins and stuff like that. But then recently, a lot of people who were playing him back then kept on trying to play him, and even though he's not bad now, he's just like a lot harder to play, and it's like kind of.
I'll agree with
like,
that.
Yeah.
A fun fact about Zed right now, I think he's got the third or fourth.
Third lowest win rate.
Yeah,
Wait,
third lowest win rate
I
right
should
now.
probably double check that.
It's down there. I mean, the only people beating him out right now are like Urgot and Yasuo, but that's because Yasuo's brand new and whatever. We're not gonna talk about him yet. We'll see if that comes up.
He's the fourth lowest.
He's the fourth lowest.
Alistair, for some reasons.
I didn't get played that
People
often.
pick Alistair? I didn't think he'd have a win-loss.
Hey.
It's like 0 games played.
No, but so he's down there, but there's a lot of skill involved with him. So yeah, I agree with that one. As for mine, I like to pick champions that I feel just don't fit currently or need updates. And I know some people are not gonna like me for saying this one. I don't know, but I really don't care. Sion. As much as he's simple, I feel like he just doesn't help enough with doing anything. But
I have a stun.
I have a stun. I have done my stun. I will see you guys later. And I know his ultimate. Yeah, I'm gonna go farm some more. Add to my health. You could get him really tanky and use him that way, and I know his ultimate can help, but there's really rare situations when I see that benefit everyone perfectly. It just doesn't happen. There's a lot of things champions can do with their abilities that, like, oh my god, that could help the team, but there's just never a situation where it does help the team. So, I don't know. His lane's a little weak sometimes. About the only way I think is kind of fun to play is just screwing around with AP Sion because it's hilarious because a lot of people just don't see it. But yeah, I'd avoid Sion. That's just me though. There's obviously other champions we could harp on and off about all day, but those are the two I'm sticking to. Your guys' weren't terrible besides the Garen.
Except for the two that you recommend.
You gotta do it
Oh
right.
my God.
Obviously, with any champion, you have to do it right. I mean, there's no such thing as a free win. Unless you're playing Karthus, but there's no such thing as a free win.
You're gonna see a lot more Karthuses now, and they're all gonna lose.
Yeah, that's fine. More
Also,
easy wins.
Not to play. It's also based on like what the other team picks and what your team picks. It's not always just like don't pick this champion in general. It's also like I don't know. It's not really situational what you pick and like how it affects your game. It's not really like one champion's always bad.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah.
Well.
Yes. I mean, yes. You are correct. All right. So you are correct. All right. So. All right. We need to find more questions. This is gonna take a second, just because the recording today is currently being ghetto rigged, as I will explain. But ghetto rigged recordings. It's the best way to do it. Here's a very simple question. You can answer it simply as they asked, but this person asks, is Kassadin OP?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone like to explain their thoughts on is Kassadin OP? Because I actually have a similar answer, but yet different.
All right, go ahead, Vickta.
Wait, I'm confused. I want to hear what his similar answer is that's not yes.
When I see a Kassadin, let's say I have to go up against Cass. Whatever. I have to deal with this because it's my lane. I'm not just going to cry about it. So, yeah, obviously if Cass gets a little ahead or if he's doing what he needs to do, it's going to hurt, and he does hurt a lot, and it's very overpowered. It's just his kit works really well, especially once he hits 6. But that's the thing. What I try to do is either bully him, try to get some kills on him, or ahead of him in some way in the lane pre-6 when he's just not quite as lethal as he becomes once he hits level 6. Once the escapability comes in and out with his Rift Walk, that's when lots of problems can start to happen, especially him getting across the map, killing other people in other lanes, and just kind of being, just ganking everywhere. Lots of map just presence everywhere. So pre-6, I try to always get something done. That's just me. So yes, he is, if he gets that little bit ahead and once he hits 6. But if you can deal with him early, that helps a lot. But, I mean, he still has potential even after that, so...
Yeah, even if, like, so many times, even if you are going against lane and hit against him and you do well against him, like, somehow, even if you call Mia, your team always ends up getting killed by him one way or another just because he's, like, so mobile. The silence is annoying.
Oh yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, pre-6, I think he's, like, pretty easy to deal with in lane, and obviously for the other lanes since he's not really moving around. But after 6, it's, like, impossible to know, like, when he's going to come up or where he's going and stuff like that. So
yeah, he's still got that damage with the silence, and it definitely is
annoying,
harassment.
but...
Yeah, it's harassment in lane, but I mean, you don't have to at least worry about him jumping either on top of you immediately or just jumping in, dealing some damage and going away. Like, there's a little bit, you can actually return some a little easier early. So that's just how I feel about that.
Also, since he has, like, the melee last hits, it's easy to, like, harass him early as well, as long as you don't get too close and get silenced.
Yeah, if you're ranged, like Ari or someone, so, yeah, ranger.
I don't ever think you should die in lane before level 6. There's just no reason. There's no huge spike damage. There's no huge CC that you're like, I just didn't see it coming. So, Kassadin gives up that little window of level 6 where no one should die, and all of a sudden becomes ungankable and can gank every lane. If he just looks at bottom lane and jungle's ganking, he can rift walk. He already has a head start ahead of the other mid lane. Then he rift walks in. He's now 2 rift walks in front of the other mid lane, and he's messing people up bottom with a slow and a silence. Plus, he's not squishy. He's pretty tanky.
No, he isn't. He's not as squishy as some casters. That's
so
true.
He's really hard to deal with. I always ban him. He's one of my 3 personal always bans. I don't want to deal with him. He's not an auto win by any means. It's just annoying. I don't want to deal with it.
I think that's a key thing to say. He is not an auto win though.
No, not at all.
But yeah, just the map presence and what he can do with his kit. It is a really good kit. So obviously, if it does all pan out for him, it can work out well.
The biggest thing in solo queue is I always think my team's not going to ward. So what champions really benefit from no one warding?
That's my issue with him.
Eve,
yeah,
Kha'Zix. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Those are good points. Those are good points. Well played. I'm excited for your good points. Yeah, I said it.
Do I get good points?
You get good points.
Yes.
And a cookie.
But you have to come to my house to get it.
I'm not coming to Nebraska.
Yeah, I thought so. All right, next question we actually have today. I like this question. I'm not sure it would take many of us to answer it, but we're going to throw it out there. They're asking, I'm having trouble finding a good jungle pattern for Season 4. I had a good jungle pattern for Season 3, but Season 4 messed me all up. Please help. Who wants to tackle this? Because I will if I have to.
I have the same issue, so I don't know if I should answer that question.
I know exactly what Ranger's thinking.
There's no pattern!
There isn't a pattern! There's no path!
Okay, so in Season 3, there was you do wolves, blue, race, red, you're level 4, boom, go. But they took that away.
They did.
Like they wanted to make it so you couldn't be counter jungled and screwed up so badly.
Wait.
Oh.
Maybe I heard you wrong. Wait, what did you say?
You said wolves first,
you
didn't
said
you?
wolves.
Did you mean blue?
No.
Wolves
You'd always
first
do
is
wolves.
Oh yeah,
after
you start
Season
wolves
3.
before they change the timers, right?
Yeah. That was
We
3/4 of Season 3,
We just should
right?
mention that in case somebody's like,
All
what?
right. Yeah. So you would start wolves.
Yes.
And that would get you the furthest experience. And they changed it, and you had to start blue.
Okay.
And now it's you smite your first buff, you do a camp, and you smite your second buff, and you're 2.5 or 3. You hit 3.
You'll be 3. You have to take the camp in between though.
Right. Yeah. You hit 3, and then you have to decide you want to do a level 3 gank or farm the jungle a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's no pattern. Like that's not the important thing.
That is your only pattern, really, is to hit 3 by taking buff, small cap, buff. After that, usually you should start looking for ganks, depending on your jungler. Obviously, once again, we'll go back to Warwick. You obviously can't really gank at 3 with Warwick, unless somebody's so overextended they're basically hugging the tower and taking shots from it. But you can't really do any ganks, but that would just be to relieve some pressure. So that is your path that much, and then you're like, I need to start ganking, or I need to go farm something and then look for another gank. Farm something, look for another gank. That's your path. Your path isn't, well, I go red, then I go blue, then I go race, then I go the new buff, which I don't think I know the name of off the top of my head, and then I go to a different buff, and then I go to mid. Like, that's not a thing, because if your mid lane's shoving just all the minions down their throat, you can't gank them when they're standing at their towers. I mean, that's just not a thing. There's no real path, so... But that's, you know.
Yeah. They're trying to get rid of the staples, the things you have to do. Back then you had to do that to get the best experience. Now you can do the weird camp.
The weird camp.
What is it?
White
Ghost Man.
Yeah, just ghost. So you can do
The
that if you
large
want to.
That's probably his name.
I still love Wraiths. I love Wraiths because it leaves me in the center of the map. so I can choose?
I'm going to spitball a question actually off of this because it has to do with jungling. I'm not sure anybody's asked it, but I know I've heard people talk about this. Obviously, you want your red, you want your blue. You need one more thing to hit level 3. Let's say we're starting over at blue buff for the sake of...
What side you on?
Doesn't matter because wolves are next to you over there, and that's the main thing I'm getting to. So, well, it kind of matters, but we're going to go with this. Anyways, a lot of people, I'll see them take their blue. They'll smite it. Hooray. Good job. Then they'll run to wolves. Take that. Then they'll run to wraiths, maybe. Or they'll run straight to their red. Is there any different pattern you like to do? Because I know there's one that probably shows in my videos, at least. But there's a different pattern I like to do. I usually skip wolves because I feel like they're not rewarding or as fast as wraiths. That's just a weird personal thing. Too. I skip wolves, go straight to wraiths.
That's what I do, yeah. I'm also like...
Then I go red.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Typically, that's with somebody like Vi.
I play Vi too.
It's a Vi party!
If I have...
Ranger.
Yeah, well, I like to play single target junglers. Yeah. So I don't have AoE. So I try to avoid wraiths, and I'll hit the ghost because it's 1. So I'll do blue ghost, red, and then hit golems up. If I was going to keep jungling, just because, you know, AoE. I don't know.
No, I hear you. No, it makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. Because
that makes sense. I guess it's probably a personal preference thing. I feel like I can get through wraiths faster, though, almost all the time. And they don't hurt as much. Like, they feel like they don't hit as hard. Like, Big Wolf actually seems to do decent damage. And don't they crit? The little ones?
I don't remember if they still do, but yeah, wolves hurt.
Wolves hurt. Just wolves hurt. So, I mean, early, if I can skip those, come back later to that. So, and it gets me to the other side of the map quick, too. Because if anybody is trying to invade, too, and I'm over there already... I might prevent the invade, too. So if I can get to the other side of the jungle... Because there's nothing important left once I've taken blue over there. Like, you're going to take the one new ghost, dude? Cool. He's going to respawn by the time I get back. It's wasting your time coming over here. So that's just the little way I look at it. So I just wondered if anybody had different input on that or not. So or what they like to do.
I'm paranoid about them taking, like, counter jungling and stuff like that. So I always run, like, right to wraiths and red. So... I
mostly get sad when I see people take a buff. Let's say they take blue, and then they turn around and they take... new buff, and then they take wolves, and then they go take wraiths, and I'm like, dude, your red buff is just sitting, and that's tons of time for anyone to go take it, or let alone you're not having any presence on that side of the map, or you're just waiting even longer to get this spawn timer back on it later in the game when, you know, sooner you get it, sooner it can start to refresh and respawn. So anytime
a buff is sitting there, it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, so get to your buffs. Take those first 2 ones quick. They also level you up way faster, and if you can get that level advantage, you're always ahead of usually the lane you're going to go gank, because you usually hit 3 slightly before they will. So
yeah,
so just a good idea. So next question. Let's find one, if I can, once again.
You can make them up.
Can I make them up?
Do not corrupt the show. The show will not be corrupted.
Okay.
I can spitball questions off of questions, but I have to look for them.
Or, like, clarify people's questions if they don't really make sense, but you know what they're trying to get at.
Here's another question that we can do. I'm okay with it, so we can do it. Are there any good tips for playing or beginning to play attack damage carries? Please talk.
Repeat that.
Are there any good tips for beginning to play attack damage carries? See, now, hold on. Do they mean ranged? Like marksmans? Like ADCs?
I'm guessing.
I think they're talking about ADCs, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing. I don't know.
I mean, like...
Yeah, I'm guessing. Yeah, ADC, attack damage carries.
Yeah, that's what
yeah, I mean doing. ADC. I just, you know, you can be attack damage and act like a carry as Zinja. I don't know. Anyways.
That's why Morello changed the name.
Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, disappointment. Anyway, so yeah, ADCs. Do you have any good tips, either of you? Is there anything that maybe helped you out when you started playing the ADC role or game, or anything you evolved over time you wish you would have known a little bit sooner?
Go ahead.
All you, Vickta. Nope.
Okay.
I'm drinking.
I mean, it was an issue at first, but before I used to, like, never ward. It helps by, like, one ward every once in a while if your support's not warding, as opposed to, like, pestering them all the time.
It does help.
It gets frustrating to be like, please buy wards. Please get Sightstone. I guess, like, a lot of ADCs, like, tend to, like, run in. Like, they forget they're really squishy and they don't stay back.
The placement.
Yeah, like, working on...
all about positioning.
Placement, positioning is probably important. Something people neglect, I guess, at first. they don't really recognize how squishy they are.
I'll say a fine line I notice for people who are newer to the role or aren't realizing what they should do with the role is it can be a fine line between I'm actually attacking them, and at this point I'm just running away and acting like I'm there, but I'm not actually attacking them. So there's that fine line between I'm attacking them and I'm safe because they're not on my face, and I need to back up and get some space but just not run away. So
yeah,
you got to be careful with that, and that's I think that's just kind of a practice and overtime thing. So
Like,
be conscious of what cooldowns are up. Like if you see J4 flag toss someone else in ultimate, you have no fear of J4 for the next 6 seconds.
Yeah,
he can't do anything to you. So there's no reason for you to still be running. I see a lot of ADCs do that. They're like, oh, I'm so scared, and they're still running, and you're like, he just used all cooldowns. Like punch him in the face.
Yeah, he's not going to get to you unless he flashes or does something crazy.
And that's why I would recommend any ADC with long range. That's why I don't recommend Vayne.
at first. Like, Kate's really good at first.
Yeah, Kate. Tristana does well. Ezreal's a poker.
Ashe, she's got the slow too, which can kind of help you out a little bit.
Varus isn't terrible. Ashe is really easy and really good at first.
Just as long as you are not in the fray. Ashe doesn't have an escape, so it's a little bit harder.
A little bit tougher. But I still think, you know.
The stun, the slow, though, is nice.
And then remember that a majority of your damage comes from auto attacks.
Yeah.
60% of your damage should come from auto attacks. So if you're playing Ezreal and you're like, Mystic Shot, and you're running around, Mystic Shot, you're losing so much damage, and you might as well not even be in the game.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
Don't forget to auto in between the Mystic Shot.
Also, like, autoing in between movements, like moving back and autoing at the same time, as opposed to just, like, standing still and waiting to die and just sitting there and being
Stutter
like...
stepping. And it's probably not the easiest thing to start with.
Yeah,
no,
but...
it's something you gotta learn. But this game's all about learning.
I know a lot of people have actually asked about that, and other people have tried to explain it. I don't know if we want to try to tackle that or not, but it's
There's 3 ways.
Do any of us want to go there?
I'm letting Ranger do it.
All right.
This is all him. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the show.
Right.
I want to see somebody do it. Explain it. I mean, I know how. I just don't like explaining it.
There's 3 ways to orb walk. You can A-click, which is pushing the A button on your keyboard, and left-clicking, which will attack the nearest thing. Then there is right-click them, right-click away, and then there is shift right-click. I do not recommend shift right-click.
I don't like that one either. That one sucks.
Don't do that one. But if you're walking into a bush or something's happening, you want to A-click on your keyboard and left-click into the bush. That'll attack the nearest target. So when they're trying to like bush gank you or bush dodge you, trick you out, whatever, you'll automatically shoot them in the face and no tricks happen. And then with the right-click away is like when you're in a team fight and you want to be doing damage to not the main target in your face, like Renekton. You don't want to be shooting a Renekton with chainmail and all that armor crap. Yeah. So you want to use right-click. Yeah. But those are the 2 ways to do it. And it's hard. You have to practice. You have to click a lot. If you have low APM, which is actions. Yeah, if you have low APM, then you're going to lose games as an ADC. You have to be constantly clicking. You can't just like click in battle. Click the guy. Oh, I'm dying. Click back. You have to be constantly clicking. I hit buttons even when they don't matter because it's like on the balls of your feet when you're playing a sport. Always be ready to do something.
Yep.
So when you're learning this, just play a couple games and understand you're going to lose. When I learned how to smart cast, I lost. I couldn't hit a skill shot. It was
weird.
My
world changed, but
yeah, I wasn't ready.
My world changed for the better, actually.
You get worse and then you get better. You never switch and all of a sudden are pro at it.
It's the same. It's the same thing with people do when they switch from being locked their whole life, to being unlocked, like, or vice versa. Although
I can't even play with locked camera though. I don't see how people do that.
I
don't
can't
do it.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore.
It must take skill because I can't do it for my life.
It's scary.
But you win the game by information. If you're not looking at things around you,
you're in
you have
Skype,
less
people
information.
Are telling you.
Yeah,
you're not as scared.
I will see things. Yeah, it's scary. So.
But yeah, that's how you orb walk stutter step. I hope that was. It's in one of my videos. I'm gonna do it again.
Well, yes, good call. Because out of all the ones, I've even searched around to see if anybody's covered it real well, and there's almost no good guide. Like some people have tried to explain it, and they do an okay job. But you're like, that was really not amazing though. You just explained it pretty much better than any other video I've ever seen anybody do it, and I've thought about making that video, and here it is. No, just kidding.
We did it.
I want to show it in StarCraft. That's where I learned it playing StarCraft with the Marines.
Oh, really?
Stutter step. Yep.
Lots of this. You're like, yes, I have this. Yes.
No, a lot of this. Because those stupid Zerglings, man.
When I started playing League, fun fact, off topic, doesn't matter, don't care. I had a touchscreen monitor, so I could screw around with it. It was hilarious. So, it doesn't help.
I had a laptop, and the first few games I played the trackpad, and I was like, this isn't happening.
No, not a thing. Okay,
What?
actually, just a few things. Don't play League with a trackpad, and if you can afford a widescreen monitor, get a widescreen monitor.
Oh,
Because
yeah, one of
League
those.
is cut like this. If you're in mid lane, you don't see bushes on the sides. It's just a
Are you
mid
serious?
lane. It's terrible. You can see like the tips, like just the tips on the corners. It's horrible. First time you get widescreen, you're like, I can see him ganking from 30 feet away. I'm running back now. You're like, suck it, Shaco.
My games have improved since I got my new monitor.
Yeah,
great.
no, it's amazing how
Seriously,
the tech can actually help you out a lot. So
Oh, if you play on anything that's wireless, don't do it. Don't be in that ranged game, in that end team fight, and be like, oh, mouse is dying, and you run into their team.
what
I
about
was people are
keyboards?
lying when they say that.
No, everything is no. Oh,
I know. I'm waiting for my new
I
one.
have a wireless mouse, but I don't use it. So
I have one too. I use it for web browsing.
Yes, me too. But that's it. No, I rock a wired the whole time. So
And
Yep.
if you don't
You
play
gotta
with
be wired.
sound, slap yourself right now. Just get your hand, lick the 5 tips, and just go across your face. Because
Parents mad.
sound, you need to hear people go invisible. You need to hear ganks
Tomatoes.
happen.
teleports happening behind you.
Sound.
They're little things, but they go a long way. That's it. So yeah, fun
Random
stuff.
tips.
Agreed. All right, let's get to one more question. All right. This is a 3-parter, though. We'll see if any of it makes sense, because I'm
Right,
not really
nothing.
reading it. I'm not proofing it.
I just picked this one because it's big.
What? Yeah, why not? More. All right. How important are counter picks? I know there's a lot of actual argument over counter picks. So, does anyone else? Anybody? Victa? Huh? What's your feelings on it? There's no right or wrong answers. This is
I just had a funny story about it because usually if I'm like playing, because I learned a lot of Vayne last season, and a lot of people say don't play her now, but I've been continuing to do so. And every time I pick a Vayne into Caitlyn, people get really pissed, and then it ends up being okay in the end. So I think it's counter picks kind of matter, but when you're like gold 3 or gold or up below, I'm not sure
Wherever.
how much it matters. I can't say anything about like plat or diamond because I haven't been there. On the way.
I think
On the way.
it's the player.
Yeah.
I don't even care. I don't
that's
even
what
care
I'm trying to
what. I don't even care what division it's in or anything. It's the player and how comfortable they are against it. Counter picks are obviously important. They can give you like the upper hand. I completely agree with that on certain champion cases. But there's other ones where I see like what the internet says is a counter pick, and I'm like, it might be for some people, but I don't feel that way. So yes and no. Counter picks can be important, especially if you're like going up against somebody you really don't know how to play against. Maybe you want to look into who a counter pick could be, and that might help you out. But if it's a counter pick to that champion that you never play and you don't know how to play them, probably isn't actually a counter pick you're gonna feed. So, and that doesn't mean the other person doesn't know how to play against them. It's totally just a generic situational counter pick. So that's kind of the main point I have, because I see some people like, that's such a counter, and I'm like, well, on paper, kind of. The range is in their favor or something like that. But if you actually work it or you just pay attention, it's not a counter. I can work against it, or I can use it against them to bait them into things. So I think it goes both ways. You just need to know what you're doing. It takes just time to learn it.
Counter. Oh. Okay, counter picks. I believe there's like 2 counter picks in the game. One of them is Zed and Kale, because that Kale ultimate shuts down Zed completely. His ultimate. That's like one of the 2 I believe in. And
Wouldn't that
It's
work for
just-
Vlad too? Kill Vlad?
what?
Well,
Because it kind of shuts off his ult.
But yeah, I mean,
Same
he's cool,
concept.
but I mean, Kale can do it on someone else.
Oh, okay.
And all
Gotcha.
you have to realize is when you're playing Zed versus Kale, understand that your ultimate combo will never kill Kale. And again, we're talking even skilled players here. Don't be like, what if he lags or he's bad? No, even skilled players, it's not going to work. So what you do is when you hit level 6, you go, I'm going to go gank bottom. Because guess what Kale is? Not bottom.
Not bottom.
So if you get countered, you have to change your play style. If you go, man, every game I play, let's say you play Shyvana top, you're like, I always go chain best, and I get the armor, and I go Sunfire, and you go against the Vlad, you're gonna have a bad time. Like,
Yes, you will.
you need to understand who you're going up against. Oh, I'm going up against Kale. Guess who's gonna level 6 ultimate the bottom lane first? And just head down there. Let them know. Be like, hey, I'm gonna hit level 6 in 30 seconds. Can you clear a ward out? Where are their wards? Head down there and get yourself a kill, and then be like, whatever, Kale. Pick your champion.
You countered my champion, but I'm going somewhere else. Screw you guys.
I don't care.
I'm going home. No, that's a good point too. Yeah, you can always avoid the counter. I mean, obviously in lane it can be tough if they're actually doing it correctly, but yeah, exactly. Do that. Go to a different lane. You can be used elsewhere. Chances are, not every single lane is your counter.
I love. People always pick champions. I got countered. How? He
By
beat
all
me in lane.
5.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
There were 5 Teemos, I swear. No.
5 kills and I was dead.
Ults everywhere. No!
I guess like the theory behind counter picks though is that it only really matters if you're like both like exactly equal skill and you're going to.
Yeah.
I don't like it really does depend on the player in the end, but it's the only like thing it's based on is equal skill.
I will say I do get upset though when I see what is technically considered a counter and I see it lose like terribly and I'm like, you're technically the counter. Why do you suck? But it happens.
Try.
They maybe got outplayed. Like that's going to happen. You know, so it's a thing. So that was part 1 of this person's question. Shall we move on to part 2?
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot.
Are there any changes you'd like to make to LoL? Examples, champion tweaks, new game modes, new maps. Any? I mean, everybody probably wants to make changes. Is there any specific one you can think of off the top of your head?
Why did you make pink wards visible?
Yeah, that.
You took oracles away.
Or yes, or oracles.
What? As a support main, why do you hate me, Riot? You gave me more money and then took away what I spend money on.
That was the difference, though,
Build
between good and bad supports last season. It was what were they spending their money on? Were they spending it on wards and oracles, or were they spending it on ohm wreckers and and ohm wreckers on top of ohm wreckers?
Yeah.
Although I defend ohm wrecker because I know who it is. That person. I'm not dissing your item ohm. It just doesn't always fit the game.
It's not fit.
But it's fun because it's hilarious. So
there hasn't been a game yet. They've been like, damn, we would have won that game if it wasn't.
Wish I had an ohm wrecker.
Ohm wrecker.
No.
I think they should add more like funsy game modes, like how TF2 has like multiple different options for game modes, where it's not like always like serious battle games. Where if it's like hide and seek or something funny, it would be, I don't know, it'd be really hard for them to do that in
Why don't you go play Hello Kitty Island Adventure? Like,
I mean, it'd be fun, right?
So kind of like how they just had that 5v5 of the same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like doing
chaos.
little fun modes like that.
That was interesting. It got super annoying that was the only invite I ever got for 2 weeks, but
oh my gosh.
But I do agree. Some of the fun map changes are fun. I'm glad they made ARAM a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like on that map, you know, like that was, you know, cool. I like it. I'm glad I don't have to go make a custom match to, you know, like it's a setup now. That's very cool. The reroll system makes sense too. It's not bullcrap anymore. So that was a cool ad. I'm still looking for the 1v1, 2v2 chamber
Magma
that
chambers.
they're talking about. So that would be interesting. I do agree with some of the fun game modes because if you just want to, you know, there's only a couple friends on, you're like, you want to go 1v1? I don't really feel like dual queuing or doing something.
That's not what it's going to be used for. Are you serious?
It's going to be,
oh my God,
I'm better than you, come 1v1 me.
Oh, yeah, you did. You got 2 ganks. I only got 4. Yeah, 1v1 me. Add me on friends after game.
Yeah, no,
Loser quits league.
Well, I'm saying it now. I ain't ever using it for that, so...
I wouldn't humor those requests.
I do agree, though, with yours, at least if I had to pick, like, a change or something. The warding thing. Like... I kind of understand what they want. They're making maps a little bit darker, which leaves surprisability, and it changes the game up. So that's kind of nifty, but in Oracles, like, where's Eve? She's everywhere. You know, where's Teemo Shrooms? They're everywhere. Like, it's a pain.
Did either of you watch Battle of the Atlantic?
Both of us are like...
No, I didn't.
It was the league tournament this weekend.
I know what it is. I didn't.
Anyways, losers. So, Alliance, who is old EG... they'd all get the ward trinket, and then around like 15 minutes they'd all like switch to sweeping lens and just clear the damn map. Just all of them would just and just completely knock out vision.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I think that's one dangerous thing with what they're doing, and I think it'll set up for those teams that are kind of scrappy and stick together and like tight knits stick together because they'll go sweep an area, the enemy team will come ward it or try to come check on it in some way so they get vision, and they'll just get pounced on, and it'll be really cool to see these kind of like jungle like bush fights and just kind of out of nowhere things because being blind is going to be a real thing. Especially with 60-second wards, you know,
and then they add this scrying orb to counter that lasts 1 second.
Yeah.
In the small, it's a little blue orb trinket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That no one.
But the range on it
no
isn't
one ever
even
buys
amazing.
on my teams. So just
It's small, it's dinky, and it lasts for nothing. So thanks for that.
Yeah, I don't see people pick that up hardly.
I tried twice.
It's not
I think I tried it once, and I was like, ooh, trading this one in.
And it's gone. No, that was, yeah. So those are some of the changes. All right, let's see if this last question makes sense.
Oh, would you guys be happy with the word changes if they brought back oracles? Like,
yes.
Yeah, I'd be way more okay with what they changed if they brought that back. I do
At least give us like one of the things as opposed to like put everything back.
Considering they worked pretty hard to make it seem more viable since you wouldn't lose it from a death midway in Season 3. And they're like, you're going to still lose time duration on it, but you get to keep it. So it didn't seem like you were getting punished for purchasing it. And then like the enemy team's like, let's go kill her support. She's got 600 health and an oracles. Like, like they didn't ruin it. They fixed it. So I'm just kind of surprised they were like, let's get rid of it completely. So maybe we'll see a return. We'll see what the...
I'd like to see it again.
We'll see what the pros do. I'm guessing most of what they're going to do will be based off of what they play or what we see or what they complain about. So it should be interesting.
Hey.
So.
Aw, doggy.
There's a dog.
I'm going to let her out real quick. Sorry.
Lonely.
How dare he?
Yeah, my bad.
All right, you're back. Okay, and on to the third question. Impromptu.
He keeps on drinking things, and I feel like obligated to...
I get my mouthwash on in the evening.
What kind of mouthwash is that?
Was that grape?
It's Listerine Total Care Fresh Mint.
This show brought to you.
No, can't do it. Don't do it. They're not paying me. Put the Listerine down.
They are not paying us. It's whatever's paying us.
Nobody. All right. Anyways, this last question. Let's see what it says. All your videos are either on Summoner's Rift or Hallowing Abyss. Do you do any Dominion? If so, what's your opinion on the game mode versus others? Obviously, this was directed towards me, but actually,
no, go ahead. I have nothing good to say about that.
When was the last time I played Dominion? I gotta think.
Last time you wanted to hate life.
I think I invited you to Dominion once.
You did?
Yeah, a long time when I was
gonna say it had been a long time ago, and I obviously didn't play if you said I invited you.
The night you were making fun of me because college.
Because college.
And then we played Dominion.
Learning.
And it was like whoever flashes the most or something wins, as opposed to like no, it was something we did something weird on Dominion. I remember this.
Uses the Flash Summoner. Kids, using the Flash Summoner.
Summoners, not the
Flash Summoner, not the flash of a camera. The Flash Summoner.
That's what we were talking about. Yes, safety first.
Oh!
Now she gets it.
Anyways, yeah, I actually get tired of the Howling Abyss too myself. It's fun though to go rock an ARM occasionally. But wait, that's the Howling Abyss. That's a Freljord. Yeah. Wait,
Howling Abyss is ARM map.
Yeah, Howling Abyss.
Yes. What's Twisted Treeland?
Twisted Treeland is 3.
Why did I just like completely? I'll play that occasionally because it's funny, but there's so many different things that happen over there. Like so many different weird team comps like work. That it's just like a cluster every time I'm ever over there. So, will I remind myself how much better Summoner's Rift is? Yes. If that's the question, yes. I'll go play the other maps to be like, wow, Summoner's Rift, I missed you. It's been one game. So that's my opinion. I mean, but yeah, I'll play ARAMs on the Abyss. I'm okay with that. Just because that game I can turn my brain off.
You know what Dominion's really good for?
Hating life.
Crying.
Hide and seek.
Hide and seek.
I've heard about this. Go ahead and
explain it. You can play where you have it's like a 2v5, and you have 2 people seeking, and they have to it's not really hide and seek because it's whoever gets the most kills on the enemy 3, and they can't attack you, and they can't buy items, so it's like
interesting.
It's pretty intense and scary.
I can see how that could be fun.
You can see it, but you wouldn't do it, but you can see it.
Yeah, I could see how that could be fun. Not sure I'll play it.
Try it.
So I try to be open to everything, but no.
But well, I know actually going back to the game mode question or changes. Whatever happened to catch the Teemo? Did anybody ever see anything about that?
You never. What was that?
I think they did it in a stream or online. I don't know if it was a tournament. Maybe I'm just drunk. That's not a thing right now. But there's a game type where somebody plays Teemo. I don't know if I'm getting the rules right. I don't play it. But somebody plays Teemo, and there's the enemy team, and you try to catch Teemo. And he has to stick to, I think, the jungle, though. He can't go into lanes.
Okay.
I don't know exactly the rules. Somebody can be in the comments and be like, well, actually, catch the Teemo. Let me fill you in,
Do you have to get the kill or just poke him?
I think you have to kill him. But he can also go invis, you know, so I don't know if the game works anymore. But
Yeah, I feel like he just...
And he's invisible.
For 45 minutes, we've been looking for this asshole.
When you had oracles, you know,
Not a
that
problem.
might have worked.
Yeah.
But
I don't
thank
know
you,
what the
Ryan.
rules are, but there was something called Catch the Teemo. I know people wanted to make it like a fun game type. And it sounds interesting.
Alright.
I don't know if it'd work, though. So.
It sounds similar to the hide and seek, except it's like
Yeah.
1v5 as opposed to like 2v5.
Yeah, and it was on Summoner's Rift, so yeah, I don't know. Google it. Maybe it'll come up. Anyways, I think we're gonna call that the last question for tonight. Anyways, so if you have more questions for future videos, simply you can send me a private message on YouTube labeling the subject as League Talks, and you can send your messages there, or you can email me at angryhoneybadger@hotmail.com. Once again, just label the subject as League Talks in case it gets junked or something, so I can go find it in the spam folder. So
Or you can click here, or
you
here.
can click on the... No, I'm not doing that. Anyways, also, go check out my co-host, and my guests' channels today.
Guesses.
And what they do. In fact, actually, Ranger, where can people find you? Are you just on YouTube?
I'm on YouTube as Paladin14. I make lane videos. I don't believe that picking a champion wins a game. I think it's how you play a lane. And I'm going to start videos up next week. Still fine-tuning my videos for Season 4.
So that's what he does over there. So I'll leave, obviously, descriptions, things down there.
Here?
Links in the description would be below. Your name right now is clickable. Sure. All right. Anyways, it'll take you to his channel. Clickable link. All right, Vickta. Where can people find you at? Where are you at?
Well, my Twitter, Twitch, and all that. There's linked on my YouTube. I guess I mainly do YouTube though. I just do like League news, and I'm uploading games and like ranked climbing games, stuff like that.
Sounds delightful. She's also clickable right now.
Oh, and I make League jokes.
They're bad League
Awkward.
jokes.
Give us
League
give us a
Awkward.
league joke. League joke, go.
Why does Mal fight jungle?
Because he's too stoned. I think I heard this.
No, because he's too stoned the last hit.
I was
You got it.
close.
You got it.
I heard this. I was gonna say. Oh yeah. So you can find both of them. Their stuff is down in the description. Links there. Go check them out. Go subscribe, and that should be fun. Also, thank you for joining me today, both of you. It has been dandy, and I think episode 1 is in the bags. You can pat yourself on the back. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. Anyways, that's it. We'll see everyone later.
Bye-bye.